So in this video, I'm going to tell you what I feel is the 5 worst things about the eToro platform. Now, if you've never heard of eToro, they are one of the most popular investing apps in the world, and they are continuing to grow at an alarming rate. With over 20 million users and features such as the smart portfolios, the eToro Academy, and even a way to copy other popular investors for absolutely free, it's no wonder this platform is very popular with new investors. And as an advocate for somebody who loves using eToro, I thought it's only fair that I come out with this video. So after using eToro for several years, in this video I'm going to talk about my 5 personal grievances I have with this platform. And these 5 reasons I feel are what new users need to be made aware of before they do go ahead and sign up. I'll also leave you at the end of this video who I feel is the perfect type of investor to be using this platform, because after all, no platform is absolutely perfect and suits every type of investor. Now, to be clear, I do use eToro on a regular basis, and I do have a close working relationship with them. Well, as it stands at least, maybe not after this video. But I do enjoy the platform a hell of a lot, and these are just my sort of personal grievances that I have found and realized from my own experiences. So if you can appreciate me being honest with these points, and more so probably ruining an affiliate relationship, do help me out by making sure you have tapped that like button. And if at the end of this video you do want to go ahead and sign up with eToro, if you sign up via one of the links down on the pinned comment, you do get lifetime access to my own personal chat room, where you can go in there and ask questions to other investors directly. So point number 1, the first sort of grievance I have with this, or something that a new investor needs to be made aware of, and that is the social trading vibe. Now, being honest with you, I now actually enjoy this side of the platform, but it took a lot of getting used to, and I sort of had to force myself into it to make sure I got the full back benefits. But it does take a lot of getting used to, and maybe somebody who just wants to quietly invest on their own, this could also be a negative. For those of you who did not know, eToro actually has a social side of its platform, and that is where you can go in and check in on another investor, see what their buys and sells are, and also communicate with them and ask them why the hell they bought Bitcoin. There's even pages for each individual asset, so you can go on Bitcoin itself and see what other investors are saying, which might sound great on the tin, but there is a few drawbacks from a new investor standpoint. With investing, you have to realize that the vast majority of people do not indeed go ahead and beat the market. Even hedge funds with seemingly unlimited power, money, resources, and qualifications, only 15% tend to beat the market on average year on year. So just be careful when you open a dialogue with someone on a platform called Steve2349, who is talking about ApeCoin and why it's gonna go to the moon, because there's a good chance that Steve does not indeed have a clue what the hell he's talking about. And there's another thing you should really remember when you talk about investments on social media, and that's a quote from a very famous guy called Warren Buffett. I hope you've heard of him. He says what a human being is best at doing is interpreting all new information so that their prior conclusions remain intact. And what this means is, if somebody has just gone and bought ApeCoin as an example, they're not going to openly tell you, or very rarely, seldomly tell you, that this was a bad investment and you shouldn't buy it too. So just bear this in mind with opinions on eToro and other social media platforms. Opinions are very much like the hole in your bottom. Everybody has got one. And take this double to heart if you are indeed a new investor, because you are for sure more likely to be influenced by somebody who seems to know what they're talking about. But that said, after a while of forcing myself to get used to this social aspect, I actually found I do indeed enjoy it. I found a few other good investors out there, and some of them I have even become friends with outside of eToro, and I do read pretty much all their posts because they are logical and sensible. But it does just take a bit of dedication to weep through majority of opinions to find somebody that you can actually agree with. Now, number 2 is something called a stop loss, and it's something that I see in the comments of my other eToro videos, and I think it's very important to address this because it's not really eToro's fault that stop loss is indeed put on a trade. And in fact, it's actually only certain trades that this stop loss is actually applied to. You see, on many brokers here in Europe, there's something called a CFD, a contract for difference. Now, what a contract for difference is you're not buying, say, Apple itself. You're going to buy a CFD version of it. It's a contract between you and a broker where basically the difference, if it goes up in price, the broker will pay you money. If it goes down in price, the broker gets to keep that money. It's sort of just an agreement for the difference. That's exactly what a CFD is in the simplest type of format. Now, if you are going short or going to use leverage, then eToro will automatically be giving you a CFD. Now, just before we get on to CFDs and why this is an issue, I just want to talk briefly about leverage. Now, if you're using leverage, here's a quick example. If you were going to buy Apple for $100, you can use sort of 5 times leverage. That means you're buying $500 worth of Apple instead of your measly 100. So if Apple goes to the moon, you've made 5 times the amount of profit. But if Apple goes down 20%, you've lost 5 times 20%, which is your whole investment. So just be careful using leverage. In fact, I'm going to go and say it. No new investor should be using leverage. In fact, maybe most experienced investors shouldn't be too. You can win with leverage, but it just takes one loss to wipe out absolutely everything you have. So just be very, very careful. But there has been a lot of people complaining in the comments and even on eToro's platform about the stop loss, about they didn't put it in and the investors have had their position closed and they've had to realize a loss because of eToro. And it's just not true. But I did go ahead and look at this and open communications with eToro to see what this actually is. And in fact, it's only on the CFD trades, and it's actually an ESMA requirement, a legal regulatory requirement to have a 50% stop loss on all CFD trades. Now, eToro has 2 options here. They can put a stop loss on your whole account. So if one CFD goes down 50%, they close all your positions and sell everything for you, because that is one of the solutions and ESMA are happy with it. But eToro tried to be a little bit more fair, and they only close the individual position that has the stop loss set in place, which I feel is definitely much better than having your whole account close and closing out some other positions that have nothing to do with it. But this is still something that people need to be made aware of. Although it's not eToro's problem directly, it is something that they cannot control because it is a regulatory requirement. If you don't want to have this happen to you, simple. Don't use leverage, don't go short, and don't use CFDs. Because after all, you can buy the actual underlying asset like Apple over on eToro. Now, number 3, which is sort of something that I've realized over time, I have dabbled in crypto, but I am definitely not a big crypto trader. Maybe a crypto investor from time to time, but definitely not a crypto trader. I don't go ahead and buy crypto on an hourly basis and follow the chart. And if you're looking at eToro to do this, maybe there's another better option out there for you too. Now, eToro has started to become quite big in the crypto space because they actually allow you to buy the physical coin and they hold it for you. And you can also actually transfer this coin into a cold wallet if you please to do so. But eToro themselves have a very client-based sort of business model, and they want all their fees to be as transparent and as simple and easy to understand as possible. But with crypto, I feel if you're looking to trade it and not necessarily invest in it, eToro is a little bit more expensive than its competitors. With cryptocurrencies, you'll have to pay the normal spread, which is again not eToro's charge, but you'll have to pay that normal spread, but you will also have a 1% buy fee and a 1% sell fee. And that's not sell fee as in the camera, that's sell fee, not to be confused, it's my Northern English accent. But to put it simply, you have an all-round trip 2% fee on any crypto trade. So if you're buying cryptocurrency on an hourly basis just to get a few basis points, then it's going to be pretty damn expensive compared to some of the broker exchanges out there that do indeed specialize in cryptocurrency. So this is something that really crypto traders should look at, but crypto investors, 2% on something that's apparently going to go to the moon is not that bad. But that said, if you do want to buy everything in a one-stop shop, you have still got stocks, ETFs, cryptocurrency, commodities, foreign exchange, copy portfolios, and so on and so forth in one stop. So unless you're only looking to trade cryptocurrencies, then eToro isn't that bad. Now, point number 4 is something that I've been going back and forth on whether I should put this in the video, and that is the copy portfolios. Now, what I feel is eToro's most popular and interesting point is the ability to go and copy another investor who seemingly knows what they're doing. So when that investor goes and buys and sells a trade, you yourself, your portfolio, your allocation to that person will basically do the exact same thing. You're indeed copying somebody else's test sheet. Now, many brokers have tried to copy this function as well and been, well, unsuccessful in the process, and eToro really, being the original, have nailed it down. Now, there are some amazing traders on eToro. So again, some people I have eventually become friends with. There's no doubt about that. There are some very good investors on the platform. And many you could go and wholeheartedly copy and probably do quite well in the future. But there are also a lot of good investors that have been putting out 30% years every year for the last 3 years who have still yet to experience a big bear market. A market that is crashing around them. And realistically, since 2008, it's been quite easy to just buy stocks and they go up. It's been that simple. We're now heading into a world where the market could crash. We've got big inflations, a war going on, and it's going to be interesting to see how these investors fare when the markets are indeed falling. So my advice here would be is just because you see somebody's performance has been great over the last 1, 2, or even 3 years, don't just copy them because of that. You should be going to copy somebody because you love their updates that they're putting on their profile. You agree with their market alignments. Your thinking is the same, just you don't have time to basically manage your portfolio yourself. And then if you agree with them, you agree with their performance, and you can ultimately just think you can trust the person, then that's the person that you might want to go and copy. Now, it is worth noting here that the people you are copying, they are not managing your money. They are managing their own money and obviously want to do well while their portfolio grows. I mean, if you lose money by copying them, it means they've lost money too. But just remember, people can make mistakes and mess up in any market, and you need to make sure you've done your research before you go ahead and copy any investor. But eToro do their hardest to make sure that these investors are properly vetted. They actually have to go through quite a lot of process to make sure that they're not a scammer, they know what they're doing, their past performance and everything, and there's even a risk score with every popular investor. In the higher tiers of the popular investor program, you have to present actual qualifications in the finance world to prove you actually know what you're talking about and you haven't just been lucky YOLOing into Bitcoin. But I do want to say here, as somebody who very rarely trusts anybody, eToro could do a little bit more here. They could add a LinkedIn link to the person's profile. They could see what the person's history is in terms of employment. They could add a little bit more to make more skeptical investors like me a little bit more comfortable, and then maybe I would take the leap and copy someone myself. But that said, it might just still be because I have serious trust issues since Gareth Southgate missed that penalty.
Amongst that list, Gareth Southgate. And Kafka saved it.
It still really haunts me. And that brings me on to the fifth biggest issue, and it's a big one. It's the biggest problem that I feel all investors have with this platform. It is something they keep saying they're working on, but I feel they really need to up their game and stop concentrating on other stuff and finally get this done. And again, that's somebody who loves this platform and uses it on a daily basis. But I do have way over 10 different brokers that I use on a daily basis too. Now, eToro is currently sitting at the third largest in terms of assets that I have. And I actually have several accounts with them. But if they did fix this issue, then I would probably move the bulk of my money over to the platform, and therefore it would be my main broker instead of it being Interactive Brokers, which, by the way, is a bloody nightmare to use and to set up an account. But sometimes when I look on eToro, I spend hours upon hours finding a stock I love, finding a stock that I feel is undervalued and I can make good money on, a stock that I really want to buy. About 2% of these stocks are simply just not on the platform. It's bloody frustrating when you spend loads of time and you can't buy it on eToro. It's bloody annoying. That's the only way of putting it. So these are my 5 things that slightly bug me with the eToro platform itself. I feel like even as an affiliate of eToro, somebody that loves the platform and recommends it on pretty much every single video, it's important for me to put out there the negative points too. So who is this broker actually perfect for? Well, being honest, given the fact that eToro has mega low minimums, mega low deposits, and it's very easy to open, I would say you've got very little to lose by at least giving it a whirl. Other than crypto traders, people who want to trade crypto on a daily and an hourly basis, this platform's got a lot to offer people. And if you take the dive, I don't think you're going to regret it. So remember, if you are a new investor and you're thinking of taking the dive, check out the links down on the pinned comment, because then you do go ahead and get a lifetime pass to one of our chat rooms so we can help you push you further forward on your investing journey. Now, if you could drop down the code words in the comments, I have made it, to let me know you made it this far in the video. And if you check out this video here, I go through my 10 favorite points about this company, because there is a lot to talk about and even some tips on the platform. Thanks for watching and good luck.